it's me, Auntie Dawn, and I am here to bring to you another little episode on building your own legacy. I wanted to talk to you today about Muhammad Ali. I want to just point out 3 takeaways that I got from a movie that I watched. I don't know if you've seen the documentary. PBS has a documentary on Muhammad Ali. It's a really good mini-series. I think it's like 4 episodes. If you have nothing else to do, you should definitely check out this documentary series on Muhammad Ali. But 3 of the takeaways that I got from this movie was really powerful. Muhammad Ali, first I have to say, I watched this movie, I fell in love with Muhammad Ali. I always liked Muhammad Ali. My mother was a huge Muhammad Ali fan. I don't think my mother was a fan of anybody's, but she used to love Muhammad Ali. Whenever there was a fight, Muhammad Ali, come on, she'd be fighting too. Don't sit next to her because she'd be throwing jabs at you. She was that involved in Muhammad Ali's fights. But she was always a big fan of Muhammad Ali. And so I paid attention to him when I was growing up because he was so. As a matter of fact, we named our dog Champ after the Muhammad Ali and I think it was Joe Frazier fight or the Muhammad Ali George Foreman. I don't know, some fight that Muhammad Ali had when I was like 5 years old. And he was the champ. The women in the house wanted to name him Muhammad Ali, the dog, and the guys in the house wanted to name whoever the person he was fighting. I can't remember right now, but we decided on naming him Champ. So that's why my dog was named Champ. But what I got out of this movie was Muhammad Ali was convicted on his beliefs. Like, he did not allow anybody to take him away from being who he was. He was not trying to please anybody except himself. He was willing to go to jail or even die for and lose his whole livelihood over what he believed. He didn't care. Like, he was not going to allow anybody to take him off of his beliefs, away from him building his life for his family. He was just convicted in his beliefs. I don't know if you didn't get a chance to watch it. We all know that Muhammad Ali, Cassius Clay was his name. This is his birth name. And he was on his way. He was a Olympic gold medalist. He had won boxing in the Olympics, and he was on his path to becoming a heavyweight champion or becoming a champion of the world. And on his path, somewhere along the way, one time when he was in New York, he heard someone speaking from the Nation of Islam, and it resonated with him so much that he was very much interested in it. So he, but I guess his advisors and stuff, he had this group of people from his hometown who was financing his way up to being a champion. And the reason they financed his way up because at that particular time, when he first won the Olympics, the only people who were sponsoring boxers was the mob. And when you got involved with the mob, they controlled you. It was just a lot of drama and extra with the mob. So this group of financiers in Louisville, Kentucky, where he was born, they didn't want that to happen to Muhammad Ali. So they got together and they created a fund and pretty much funded his entire career until he became a champion. So once he became a champion, he was always just direct and to the point. He didn't hold any punches. He spoke his mind. And even though people tried to stop him from speaking his mind, he just would not stop. He just, whatever he felt, he said it. Now, he also did little things to draw attention. It was promotion. He was very good at promoting himself because he saw this wrestler one time who was calling himself pretty, and so he kind of adapted that into his repertoire, and it kind of stayed with him. But he was very open and very direct about what he wanted, and he wouldn't let anybody sway him, even though people try to, either you loved him or you hated him, and that's just what it was. But once he became the champion, right before he became the champ, he was getting more and more involved in the Nation of Islam. And back then, the media, of course, wanted you to hate the Nation of Islam because anytime when black people get together and try to better themselves, the media don't like that. They do everything to try to stop, black people from gathering and doing things to improve themselves. The same way with the Black Panthers, they put them out as a hate group. So even to this day, what the media says people believe. So, but back then it was even worse because you didn't have, all you had was the media telling you. So the white people were so fearful of the Nation of Islam because the media said the Nation of Islam was just a group of black men that's going to run around and kill white people and rape your women. So, which was furthest from the truth. But most people, to this day, that's what they think the Nation of Islam was about, because they've been fed wrong information and they believed it. So, of course, after he became the champ, he announced that he was part of the Nation of Islam and that he was changing his name from Cassius Clay to Muhammad Ali. And people just went after him for that. Like, they got rid of his license. They all of a sudden, where he disqualified to be in the service before, now all of a sudden he qualified to be drafted. So, and then they knew that his religious beliefs did not allow him to be drafted, but they did everything to try to get him to conform, and he would not conform. And the reason I'm bringing up Muhammad Ali is because this is what most people do. Most people conform to what society tells them to do, even though it may go against what they really want in their life. Like, society tells you to go to school, get an education, and go get a job. But the truth of the matter is, doing those things is not for your benefit, although they make it seem that it is. Doing those things is actually to your detriment. I'm not saying getting an education is bad. Getting an education is always good, but you educate yourself on the things that you need. You know, Muhammad Ali was not really that smart. The only reason he really graduated from high school is because his principal had a heart. His principal said, listen, because he was boxing a lot, so boxing kept him out of classroom. He was working towards the Olympics, so, you know, they didn't interfere with that. They let him do his boxing thing. So when it was time for him to graduate, the teachers didn't want him to graduate. But his principal said, we're not going to hold him back. He has the opportunity to go on a bit. What he's doing, he doesn't need to learn how to do algebra and geometry. So let the man go on and be a man. So it was a good thing they had a good principal like that, instead of 90% of principals probably would have been like, oh no, hold him back because he didn't do great in school. But having an educating yourself on what you need to do. Like, Muhammad Ali was very much educated in the art of boxing. He was very much educated on the things that he needed to do for himself. And that was what was important, because that's what you have to live. The stuff that you learn in school, 90% of it, 95% of you'll never use again ever in your life. I'm 56 years old and never used algebra after high school. Never used geometry after high school. Never used a lot of stuff in most of the history it taught me. I found that was wrong and lies anyway. So there was no really need or purpose to be in school. I'm not saying that you should quit school, but I'm just saying there's no real need for it. It's just to indoctrinate you to go get a job so you can work and build somebody else's legacy. But Muhammad Ali wasn't having it. He knew what he wanted. He wanted to show black people that you can be yourself and still get the respect. As a matter of fact, you'll get more respect when you be yourself than when you put on a show just to please some people who will never ever be pleased with you regardless of what you do. So that was the message I kind of got from it. I just wanted to kind of share that today because I need you to start living your life that way too. Live your life being true to yourself. We are all here for a purpose. There's something that we should do, and you should not allow others to cloud what you're supposed to be doing because it fits into some kind of societal box. Society says this is what you should do, and so therefore you do it. Do what's best for you, because actually the people who are more successful and more happy with their life are the people who live outside of that box. People who do their own thing, who blaze their own trails. People who figure out what it is that make them happy, make their finances and their living that way, and stay true to themselves. So that's what I'm coming to you there. Be true to yourself. If being true to yourself means that if you right now are getting up every morning, going to a job that you hate, going to a job that doesn't resonate with you, just going to a job because it's a paycheck, it's time you start changing that mindset. Start thinking of, not saying to quit your job, but start thinking of something else that you could do when you're not on that job that you enjoy, something that brings excitement to your life, something that you're good at doing, and work on doing that in your spare time until the point where you worked on it so much that you're now making enough income to quit that job that you hate, that you don't like, that you that's making you sick, that you don't like your coworkers, you don't like getting up to go to. It's just a paycheck because you got to pay bills. That's the trap. That's the trap. You find a job, you get to something that just pay bills, and then the next thing you know, you're stuck there for the rest of your life. But do yourself a favor. Start living your own truth. Start building your own legacy. Start living a life that's meaningful and truthful to you. If you're looking for something and you don't know what it is that you want to do, reach out to me. I can definitely help you find something that could be very benefit to you and help you build your legacy at the same time. I'm Auntie Dawn. I want you to have a blessed and wonderful day, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.